Okay. Okay. So shall we start, Nitin? I think we are good. We have 45 participants. Yeah.
I think we can wait a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Means normally we take 3-4 minutes
Mhm.
longer. Maybe you can introduce a bit about Prachi in meanwhile, and we can start
Yeah,
our
definitely.
session.
Yeah. So I think it's his privilege that I know Prachi for like around 4 or 5 years now. I think 3 or 4 years. So accidentally we meet on LinkedIn, and then the journey goes on, and then we meet personally. But she's a very very good lady. I can say that. Yeah. Always positive one, always there is no kind of negative thoughts, always encouraged everyone in difficult situations. So she's an agile expert, or any type of coaching. So I can, in the nutshell, I can say that she's a independent consultant, and a coach, very very good coach, based out of Bombay. So, and maybe the further details or further introductions can be done by Prachi itself, herself.
Sure. Are we getting started or still waiting, Nitin and Dinesh?
Couple of minutes, I think. Maybe
Yeah,
10,
so
5 we start.
Yeah, let's wait for 2 minutes and then we can.
Yeah. It's good that good number is available at right time, and we
Yeah.
will have some extra minutes to talk more, maybe a question or so here and there. We can acknowledge that.
Sure. Yeah, I can wait or start with my introduction, whatever the group feels comfortable with.
Let's start then. Why should I stop again? Yeah, let's start.
Sure. Okay, I might need help here. I will share the Google presentation link. It's not allowing me to share at the moment. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
But I make you Prachi co-host.
Still not able to share.
Okay, let me find out something for you.
I'll give you the link.
Okay, no problem.
And if you can share for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, by the time Dinesh brings it up for us, the title of the topic of today's meetup is Agile Project Management. And I'm going to offer some ideas and seed some concepts. And I would like to see what emerges. Let's say if we want to look at Agile Project Management with new lenses, look at our current context and reinterpret what it really means. So I just want to first kind of understand where we stand in terms of our audience composition today. So can I please request all of you to mention the role that you are currently playing in your organization or in your professional setup, so that I can get some idea as to what's the composition today that we are talking about. Yeah. And Dinesh, feel free to bring it up. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Business analyst, software people, Scrum Master, CTO. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Maybe Prachi, if you can try now, because I need again your permission for opening up the Google Drive.
Yeah.
I actually make you host.
No, it's about my Zoom settings. It's not about you making me host or not. So I'll I have your email ID. I can add it over there.
Yeah.
I can help if required. Yeah.
I have added your Gmail for the presentation. Should be
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I thanks for sharing that. Great diversity. I think from people working on business side, business analyst, testing, development, agile coaches, saw a CTO, team leader, so on and so forth. So I think this should give us a good rounded perspective on this topic today, because not even if all of us are not playing that role, we are definitely interacting with that role, right? So let's shape up our understanding and see how it plays out in the discussion today. Dinesh, are you good now?
Yeah, just give me 10 seconds.
Okay. Thanks for putting up with that, and good that we have few more people who have joined. So welcome all of you to this meetup, and we are getting started with the first talk for the day.
Yeah, so I open it. Let me share it.
Sure.
Okay, and let me know when you are able to see it.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Dinesh.
And can I make it as a slide view, or it is
Yes,
fine?
please do that. Yeah. Turn it into the slideshow. Yeah.
And yeah.
So as I was sharing, my intention is really to share a few key ideas and concepts, seed them, and then let's try to make meaning of what this means to us with today's day and context. Yeah, please, you can go to the next slide, Dinesh. Yeah. Quickly, my introduction. I am an independent consultant. I look at my role, although as that of an integrator. I primarily work in the knowledge areas that you see on the right hand side. So I consider myself as a consultant who's helping organizations to be more effective, to achieve even better results, to innovate, so on and so forth, right? So and how do I do that? It is based on agile ways of working and some organization development practices. My second role is also of a strategic thinking partner, especially when the organization wants to get into data democratization and some strategies which are about transformation, defining the goal of transformation, defining the roadmaps, and planning those execution rollouts, etc. I'm also a professional coach. I have my PCC credentials from ICF, and I coach individuals, teams, again organizations. I would say to first of all understand their potential and then help them to realize it. Last one of the way I see my role is my favorite, is building competencies and capabilities in change agents and coaches is what I enjoy doing the most, probably. I have just put the different employers that I have worked for and different institutions from which I earn my credentials, right from University of South Florida to Sri Aurobindo Society of Integral Psychological Health. And I am, as I got started being an independent consultant and coach, I'm curating certain ideas, which I call Integral Change Agents Lab, Agile Caretakers, CREST. And how is it that we as change agents, I consider all of us in today's day and age, we are pushing boundaries, we are pushing the envelopes, we are change agents. So how is it that we can work on ourselves first as we do that? These are some of the things about me. Dinesh, we can go to the next slide. Yeah. So here I have a few questions. If you can just click on this slide a couple of more times, Dinesh. Yeah. Roles in the audience. Yeah, you can stop there. Roles in the audience, I think we have looked at that. So I want to quickly, if you can type it in the chat window, what's your first reaction when you hear the word Agile project management? And please get in touch with how it makes you feel and what is the thought that comes to your mind. Let's try to do both. And please type what comes to your mind when you hear the word Agile project management. Or I don't mind if you want to verbally share also. Okay, MVPs and iterative development, flexible, more freedom, adapting to change. Okay, futuristic way of managing. Yes. So what are we managing here, Ajay? Managing what?
It's hi. It's could be anything like where we are talking about any particular project with respect to any change in the organization or any processes, onboarding, or any kind of things.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that people have written what project management contains. What comes to your mind first? What's the feeling that comes to your mind when you hear Agile project management?
Hey Prachi, Megha this side.
Hi.
So I think when I see Agile project management, so like first thing that comes into my mind is a team of like less than 10 members, and we have some deliverables. We must be following some frameworks, so like Scrum, Kanban.
Okay.
And we have deliverables.
Sure. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. Okay. Anything else which hasn't been covered in chat or verbally that somebody wants to add? Okay. Kanban.
Hi Prachi, Gurpreet this side. I think Agile project management to me is the planning that happens before the actual sprint begins.
Okay.
For the project.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Independent individuals working as a team end to end. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Can you please click on this slide once more, Dinesh? Okay. Yeah, we covered this also. What's your understanding of Agile project management? And the last question, where you think is Agile project management going today? Given today's day and context, where is it going? No, you can be on this slide. Thank you. And I think invite even Dinesh, Nitin, people from Agile Wow also associated with to comment. Okay, where is it going? It's going towards automation. Okay, could you please clarify that, Saloni? What do you mean by that?
Like now, everything is like Agile will manage everything automatically. Manually, not everyone have to do things like building or build project and everything. Manually.
How are you associating automation with project management, Agile project management?
Yeah, the related to projects, everything will be managed under one system.
Okay.
That is Agile.
Okay. 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 Pranshu says it's going towards people control, maybe due to so many marketing frameworks in the market. Okay. Okay. What else?
For me, Agile project management, where it's leading towards customers, and mainly it's a customer centric, where we focus on the customer, their needs, and their way, how and what they want.
Sure. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. Speed to delivery. Nitin says speed to delivery with end user more involved in development. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Let's go to the next slide. So what we have probably heard so far, that Agile project management is a skill, is a set of steps and activities. It is also a role. It is a function. It is a set of process implementation paradigms. It's also an activity, right? What sense do you make of all these things? You agree, disagree? Any reactions to this? Is it, yeah, is this and much more? So these are some pointers for us to think. Okay, can you click on this slide once more? So typically, I think it is always, let's manage a project used to be always in these three triangles. Like I want quality, with limited scope, limited time, and limited cost, right? One more time. And here is the definition of Agile project management. Can you click on the slide once more? Yeah. Right. So it is, it's a combination of project life cycle, managing this triangle, and also doing it iteratively, incrementally, right? I want to say that, click on the slide once more. I see that as a contradiction, and I will tell you why. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So when I see the current state of Agile project management, and when I talk about let's reinvent, let's look at it from multiple lenses, and let's probably look at today's context and reimagine what Agile project management needs to be all about. These are some of the forces that are at play, and this is something that you can call these as different lenses also. Lenses to understand today's context. So what are these lenses? So, you know, we talk about system thinking these days. So what is the system view that the project manager can look at, or a project management can look at? What is the Agile, what is the organizational context in today's dynamically changing world, you know, the uncertain world, the competitive world? Also, how human collaboration and organizations themselves have evolved over time, and what learning can project management, Agile project management, derive from that evolution, and what are the realities of knowledge workers? Okay, so I want to talk about these points, and then we'll come back to this whole idea that I'm talking about. Let's make meaning out of project management, Agile project management, given today's context. Yeah. Can you please go to the next slide, Dinesh? Yeah. So I want to offer two lenses. There are many more to look at the system today. So what you see on the left side is a structure or a basic, simply put, the model of a socio-technological system. Okay. Most of us are in the field of IT, looked like from your roles. So a socio-technological system is something where the hardware and the software and the people, they all come together to create something that adds value to the customer or end user. Okay. So we see these different dimensions that come together in this system. And it's not just these dimensions that what are my goals, what metrics am I tracking, you know, what's my process, what's my framework. It's not the parts, it's also the interactions between those parts. Okay. So a question for Agile project managers in this group is, do you look at these interactions? What do these interactions mean to you? And how do socio-technical systems stand out from other kind of systems is, you know, the unit of design in a system like this is a team. It's not an individual as it used to be, right? So we as project managers can also consider ourselves as part of the team and not individuals who are in some at a vantage point or in a privileged position or role. And the locus of control, as we say, self-organizing teams or cross-functional teams. The whole idea is, you know, assessment of risks that a manager would do, or a communication between team members and different roles, different developers that the project manager would do. The sense of flagging, you know, a sense of giving the status of where I am, the sense of working towards that completion together, you know, voicing out what are my needs to complete this particular feature. The locus of control of all of that is supposed to have transferred to the team, which is the basic unit of design in a socio-technical system. So just keep these concepts in mind. On the other hand, when we look at, this is a Burke-Litwin model of organizational diagnosis again. So it looks at an interplay between the transformational factors, the transactional factors, as well as the individual performance factors that are at play in an organization, thereby meaning that there are some transformation factors that decide my direction and strategy. There are some transactional factors that decide what is it that I want to accomplish in my process excellence or operational excellence, and there are some individual needs which are at play. So when I want to manage a system like this, then am I aware of what all is playing out in the background as a project manager? Okay, can we please go to the next slide? Yeah, this one is my favorite. Anybody who's familiar with this model, this talks about organizational resilience. Anybody who has seen this before? Okay, I'll elaborate on that, try to keep it simple. So we have these two axes. We have consistency and flexibility, and we have defensive ways and progressive ways. And if you probably introspect a little bit, you will realize that no matter what your role is, if you are a CTO or a CEO or a developer or a project manager or an agile coach, the organization usually struggles to manage these dualities, right? I want to be, even in agile, I want consistent burnout rate, but I want flexibility when it comes to accepting new changes and features, right? There are some deliverables that I want to always secure. I want to protect those results, but there are some things where I want to use progressive ways or I want to innovate, right? So this is the reality of organizations, that I want this and this and this and this, usually our decision making ends up being, or, I can either have flexibility or I can have consistency. So the reason I like this model is because it truly encourages that and thinking. And we'll talk about these 4 quadrants again. And let's just look at where we think the traditional project management fits and where we think we need something to change even in agile project management. For example, whenever my intent is to protect results, traditional project management makes perfect sense, right? I'm complying, I'm monitoring, somebody's raising risks, somebody's noticing something and we are responding to that situation. So traditional way of project management is just the way we saw it, be it planning, be it reporting metrics, be it reporting risks, all of that makes sense, when it comes to the protecting results part of it. But the question is, when I'm trying to optimize my performance, right? When I'm improving continuously, or when I'm imagining, innovating, creating, does the traditional project management make sense or not? Okay, so I want to leave you with this thought. Dinesh, if you could please go to the next slide. Yeah, I want to present another idea, which is about how human collaboration itself and the way we look at organizations has evolved over last few years. So anybody here who has come across a book called Reinventing Organizations or has heard about teal systems?
I heard about the first one.
Sure, yeah. It's a pretty well-known, popular book, especially for organizations and change. Yeah. So this is how human collaboration and organizations have evolved. So from giving importance to power and authority and structure and hierarchy in an army or a clan kind of organization, then to going to organizations that work like machine, demanding predictability, demanding control imposed through rules and procedures and roles and boundaries. Then to green organizations, which encourage connectivity between people, again, to satisfy some common goal and achievement. These are the organizations who believe in empowerment to get the job done. These are the organizations who probably are looking at the culture and ways of working, not that just the work is getting done, but how the work is getting done. For the first time, you'll see that in the green belt. Some traces of empowerment, allowing people to make their own decisions to achieve the purpose and achieve what we have set the goals for. And last but not the least, teal organizations. That's how the nature is basically. It's an ecosystem. Everything has that inner intelligence to manage itself, respond to situations and adversities. So everybody has a potential. It's already there. It's up to the organization to tap into that potential. In such organizations, a lot of emphasis is given on meaning, intimacy, and also interconnectedness and relationships. So they say the future of organizations is teal, right? Future of human collaboration is also teal. So then what is the future of agile project management in this changing world? That's the question we can probably just contemplate on a little bit. Let's go to the next slide in the meantime. Yeah.
Yeah, give me a second.
Yeah, this is the last concept before we start the discussion. Yeah, maybe this is not that visible. This is from one of the famous talks of Dr. Alan Ward when he spoke at Toyota. And he was talking about lean ways of doing things, right? So traditionally, we have seen that there is a gap between a person who holds the knowledge of the system, the person who takes action, the person who's responsible for making sure that things happen, and the person who's responsible for giving feedback. Let's take a mix of roles that we all play in this group that we are together. So there is somebody who has a knowledge of business strategy or technology strategy. There is a CTO in this group. There is somebody who's taking action, okay, on actually developing the features. That role also has the knowledge of how to get things done in that particular locus of control. The people like, the team leads or the project managers are typically considered who are responsible and accountable for knowing if the things happen, and if they don't happen, then why haven't they happened, right? And there is someone else who's giving feedback to when all this action is happening, right? So this separation that worked in traditional systems, maybe it worked in amber systems, orange systems, and red systems. Does it really work in green systems and blue systems? And what you all as knowledge workers understand from this? Does this talk to you about the essence of why Agile came into existence? That's the question I want to ask the group. I'll pause over here. So we have looked at how the organizational context is changing, how the realities of knowledge workers have changed, how the evolution of collaboration has happened over time, right? So with these few ideas that we have looked at, what comes to you? How do you relate these ideas to Agile project management now? If I could please hear a few thoughts about that.
So when we talk about the responsibility, or I would say a shared responsibility, that is the way where Agile is taking us. If I give you a simple example, for example, team is of a developer, QA, project manager, business analyst, and product owner is there. And if someone is leaving from the organization, then the team should not get disturbed, and there should not be any void for that particular team member, and team should not be dependent on that person. Everyone should have their own responsibility, their own I would say the way of working, and they should be independent. Independent is a key word over here, where we can give better result, and team as well as the customer should not be impacted by this setup. That is what my thought is.
Anything that tells you as to this aspect of Agile project management needs to evolve as the rest of the world is evolving? Anybody? Yeah.
I think when we talk about Agile, it's more towards starting from core, from very base. Means everyone understand this 4 quadrants that we are showing here, that it's not about someone having a role of manager itself. If everyone individually take care of all these 4 points that's mentioned here, they are in itself doing the management work, and which is more or less Agile in itself. That you take responsibility, you should have good knowledge, wait for your feedback, and take action about the at least the part you are looking into. So
Yeah.
That should evolve from point starting as maybe say fresher or you are 20 years of experience. Everyone should have the same mindset, I believe.
And a lot of this does have to do with the culture of the organization. A lot of it has to do with how the project managers themselves see their role, right? Let's go to the next slide, Dinesh, and let me offer some ideas again about how do we reinvent then Agile project management. If you can go to the next slide, please. Yeah. So let's look at the, yeah. Can you go? Yeah. Let's look at the first, the quadrant where, you know, I want to be consistent. So protecting my results is, results are important for me, you know. Let's look at that quadrant first. And let's also kind of think about an idea where I'm not looking for answers. Should I do this or that? Within one organization itself, you'll have some projects and some teams and some work which requires sustenance, which requires protection of results. Okay. In this case, how can project managers reinvent their role? Okay. Or can they expand their role a little bit? Okay. That's what I'm trying to come to. So in performance optimization and preventive control, I'm sure we see this all the time in our, let's say, if we have a customer service team, I'm probably looking at a preventive control. I don't want escalations. I'm preventing bad things from happening. So in that sense, project management role is perfectly functional. It's perfectly helping and contributing to get things done. Okay. But what are the different areas that one can still look at? You know, here we are talking about mostly operational excellence, delivery excellence, and business technical excellence, both probably, right? How does that happen, and how can I expand my horizon as a project manager? I can look at leadership development. So when I want to improve continuously, how does leadership improve continuously? So that's when the coaching comes into the play. Can I coach the leaders as well as the teams to consider this point of view? Okay. Can I actually encourage and actively participating, aligning the system to its goals when I want to optimize my performance as well as prevent, you know, always protect my results? I already talked about socio-technical systems, and where traditionally the focus of project managers has always been on processes and frameworks. Can that focus diversify into people and their coaching, leaders and their coaching, culture building, you know, technical practices, and overall playing the role of an observer to the system, you know, constantly observing, making sense of what is going on, monitoring what is happening, and bringing it to the attention of concerned people to take that action, right? So can we look at the role from this lens? That's the first thought I want to offer. If we can go to the next slide, which is the quadrant of progressiveness, you know, quadrant of flexibility, right? And how can we reinvent this role in these situations? So any company today has to protect certain results, has to make certain improvements, and also innovate at the same time. So we as project managers, we cannot be wearing just one hat. So what are the other hats that we need to develop? Okay. So building that culture of innovation, you know, building that culture of learning, development, and growth, right? Always building the environment, holding that container for our team so that they can push boundaries, right? Keeping them safe from the internal, external pressures so that they can innovate and they can push boundaries. And in these environments, especially when we are talking about progressive ways, we do need to tap into the potential of the group, the potential of the team. While doing so, how can we bring ideas of autonomy, mastery, purpose, so on and so forth? Okay. So I want to leave you with these ideas and end this talk with just one more slide, which is left. Then now, how do I look at, you know, instead of saying agile project management, I want to say, let's be an agile project manager, you know, let's not emphasize only on agile project management to change. Let's also look at what are the competencies that I need to develop as an agile project manager. So we saw this organization resilience model. And here in this diagram, you see attention quadrant, because at no time we are saying that I need to only protect my results or I need to only innovate. It's all about balance for that organization now. So while we are trying to do all of it, what contributions can a project manager make, and how can the project manager himself or herself be agile? So these are the competencies, some of them which I have listed. There are many more, but I want to leave you with these. So can we meet the organizations where they are? Not because I know Kanban or I know Scrum, I will implement that. What is the need of the organization? How do we understand the need of the organization? How do we change our stance depending on the culture in the organization? Okay, so that's what I mean by meeting the organization where it stands. And thinking, I think I have talked about that enough. Not that I will do only this. Can I be contextual? Can I be situational? Can I adapt to the needs of the organization again? So instead of or thinking, can I adapt and thinking? This is true and this is true, and this is how I will respond to it. So this is a role, Agile project manager or Agile coach for that matter, is a role which does not have a lot of authority given to it by the title. Okay. But that's why the influence comes into the picture. That's why something like what I've written here, claiming our power. Okay. Power is something that an individual can claim. That leader is something that the individual can become, and authority is something that is given to you by the title. Okay, so can we claim our own space, and can we claim our own power, and kind of courageously observe and state those realities to the organization? Can we share those observations? Can we truly be the mirror holders of the reality to the organizations? For that, we need to definitely step back and be able to observe the system the way it is, right? And we also need to be capable of holding multiple realities and perspectives, right? We probably can be the voice for developers as well as technology and business and the changing market condition, right? So these are the competencies. So my truly the intent here is to encourage thinking around becoming an agile project manager with these competencies, and not looking at agile project management as an act or a function or a process. Yeah. So I want to leave you with this. The last slide has some references that I have used. And yeah, we can take some questions if you have questions. Or any reactions or whatever you want to say.
Okay, so Prachi, I have one question, because you are dealing with so many organizations or these agile practices. So can you give me an experience of success with this agile project management?
So that's what I'm saying. That was Amit, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. If I look at the traditional definition of project management, from my observation, it's no longer enough. Okay. So unless the project manager diversifies into other areas, I do not see the success coming. And again, my question is success for whom, right? Success for the project manager, or success for the team, or success for the organization. But I'll assume that it is a success for organization.
Yeah, you can think about anything related to, so what is your experience? I want to hear, with whatever you're working with.
So when it comes to success, I have seen that when the role of the agile project manager has been expanded to accommodate at least some of the things that I talked about today, then it is possible to for the teams also to respect the role, for the team also to notice the contributions of the role. For example, if I say that my role is to help the team be more effective and efficient when I am in the optimization performance kind of quadrant, then I have seen that the teams are more successful when the project manager is able to bring in the ideas for process excellence, business excellence, operational excellence, right? So what are the improvements that are to be made? Do those improvements make sense? How do we do those changes as well as protect our results? If the project manager is able to wear these hats and bring this fresh thinking to the team, then I have seen the team succeed as well as the role become prominent and contributing for the team.
So you are using any tool for that, like making KPI metrics or OKRs and all?
Yes, yes. So there are different aspects here, we can set different systems such as OKRs. We can set the operational model between different interfaces of the team. How does this team interface with business? How does the team interface with the stakeholders? What does this team even monitor in terms of its, performance in terms of technology, process, performance, as well as operational performance? What is it that we need to monitor? So I wouldn't say it's a tool. I look at it as a skill and competency. There is no tool which will bring all these aspects together.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, Prati. Hi, Prati. Sitansh here. So we discussed about OKR, right? So can you help me with a few examples of OKR for the Agile project management?
Sure, yeah. So let's say if we look at a typical lean concepts or typical concepts of flow, right? And I'm dealing, let's say, with a customer success team or something that manages customer infrastructure. Okay. So I can monitor something like a mean time between the failures. I'm talking about the metrics and not about the OKR, by the way. OKR in itself is a very big discussion and it needs to be completely contextual. So I don't have like a 4-step success formula for OKR, but OKR in a nutshell is, again, I'm breaking the improvement that I want into smaller pieces, right? For example, if my uptime of my infrastructure has been X, and in next few months by doing ABC, I want to bring up the uptime by 10%. This is an example of an OKR, right? Maybe it can be done in a quarter or a month. That depends really on where the team is. So this is the example of an OKR, right? So if I am truly working on a transformation of a team, and I am an organization who equally cares about the mindset, right? I can monitor health of the team and I can look at, in next 1 quarter, can I take the health and happiness of this team from point A to point B? That is an OKR. Yeah.
Okay.
So anything that we do, not only as customer deliverables, but about change also, transformation also, can the project managers look at it as incremental deliverables, which can be captured in OKRs, which can be measured. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
welcome. It's
Yeah.
10:45. I'm wondering, Dinesh, if we have time for more questions. Or
So I will. I don't have a question. So Prachi, thanks for giving a different, insightful view, or I will say different lenses to look into the Agile project management. Yes, I guess more people like to ask, but we have to keep this time boxed.
Yeah.
For now,
I am happy to share my email address and send me these questions either on email or LinkedIn. Happy to answer and have a dialogue.
Sure. Thanks, Prachi. So Dinesh, maybe we can have some common discussion or break of 3-4 minutes before we start with part.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prachi, for your time. I know you're busy, but yeah, thank you so much for this wonderful insights actually about Agile project management and some of the myths that I've cleared. Yes, I think let's discuss more about Agile project management, how they are doing it, and what's their perspective also. Yeah, if anyone can in the group.
Thanks, everyone. I'm attending a course today, and I took a roughly 1 hour break, but I have to go back and attend it again. So I have to leave in a couple of minutes. But thanks to Agile Wow, Sanjay, also Nitin, Dinesh, you've been associated with it for a long time. So thanks for taking the efforts for organizing this. And thanks everybody. You're present in huge numbers on a Saturday morning. So there is a drive to learn and there is a drive to change. And good luck to all of us for better success.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Prachi, and good luck to you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prachi. Thanks for your time.
Thanks.
Okay. Maybe if I can ask a question, who is doing the job of a project manager currently?
So I can go with that. I
Yeah.
am doing it in multiple teams, and yes, we have to keep a mix of I will say we have to be agile plus agile because we are in service industry, so we have a client, their own teams, and they are managing things their way, and we have a team which is working for these teams, but we have to manage things our way. So we are doing kind of, I will say, a blended version which fits both our client very well and their way of doing things and our way of doing things. So sometimes what happens is client has no knowledge and they don't want to change as we want to do that, and we want to do it in a best way, or you can say keep on learning and changing as we want to do it, or imbibe at least the best practices if possible. So in that we are trying to focus on both ends, how we can make sure it's a client satisfaction as well, the deliverable as required, plus our team developing in a right way following the agile practices to its best as much as we can do in our capacity.
Great. And I think, yes, so whenever the situation required, I think we need to be a little bit blended. So it's not to be rigid every time that, okay, we use this framework, we use this framework. We have to take care of the customers also. This is what I learned, during the time of the course, So we should not be, rigid about, using these framework, that framework, and all these things. So if a customer demands, okay, let's change our way of working according to them, because after all, the customer is the goat. We can say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I think Nitin, we are on time for another speaker. Yeah, if you can go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. So Parth will be taking up the next round of talk. Parth is in 55 Technologies, working as a senior business analyst, one of the big brands. And because we have mix of audience here, starting from basic role to agile coach, CTOs, so he will be going through quickly onto basics of agile project management. So everybody should correlate what they have seen in previous presentation and they will see in next presentation. So everybody should be on same page when they go back and look back on what they learned today. So yes, over to you, Parth.
Thank you very much, Nitin, and thank you very much, Agile Wow. And welcome everyone to the a mindful and a new session, which is for the Agile project management. I'll share my screen. Are you guys able to see it?
Yep.
Yes, Parth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So, Prachi has given us a very pictorial idea, a very big idea that what project agile project management is and how it should be done and what can be the way of doing it. So that I would say a bird eye view. Now I will go one step down where I will go into the details that how the agile project management can be done. One, and what are the different techniques which if we can implement within the organization, within the team, that will help us to improve as well as to grow faster. That is one. Second thing, when we talk about agile, all the time one thing came into my mind, or one thought is there with me, that whenever we say agile, not a project management, not anything else, it's always about team. So if team is doing good, and if all the teams which are there within the organization is doing good, then indirectly or directly organization will going to do the good. Okay. With this thought, we'll start with the basic introduction that what is Agile. So Agile is a style of working. There is no written framework, there is no written way that this is the only way you can do the Agile, you can do this way. No, that is not there. It is one, only few principles are there which are helping us to go ahead and implement Agile within the project. So Agile is flexible. They are working closely with the customer and ensuring the final result or the solution which should meet the business requirement. So this is the three fundamental thing of an Agile, that if you are implementing or if you want to implement, just keep this three thought in your mind and go ahead, and then the ground is yours. You can play around with whatever process you want. You are totally fine with that. Next. So there is a in the traditional environment before, like Agile has been invented near in 90s, and before that, for the software development as well as for the other industry, there was a way how it was working, and which is named as a waterfall. So what it used to happen previously, that there were having a separate phases for the particular cycle of a software. So in the very first phase, we just collect the requirement. So collecting a requirement, even if it takes 2 months, 3 months, it's totally fine. They are collecting we used to collect the requirement. We used to make a heavy, bulky documentation, and then we move to the next phase. So that is actually the time consuming. So first requirement, then the design, then actual implementation, and then testing. And if something goes wrong, then again we need to start from the requirement, because if we found something in a testing and which was not captured during the requirement, then the entire phase will start again, which will leads to a longer delivery time. And because of that, many a time it feels that, or it has experienced that once the even the software is live, there are no enough users to use it. Now, from waterfall, we changed it to the agile. What we did, we came up with an idea, or maybe agile as a terminology came up with an idea, where we go ahead with the smaller portion of development where it can directly go to the production. When I say production, it should be deployable, it can be used, and we should get a feedback from it. So the cycle time of getting requirement to the implementation to the deployment is quite lesser. And we are actually in the market where real people are using it, people like you and me, and we are getting continuous feedback, and based upon feedback we can implement and iterate one more time. So this is where the industry is going, this is where the things are moving, and this is what is meaning by agile. Next. So here I have given the comparison between the agile as well and the traditional way of working. So when we say agile, what is the main USPs of agile? It's customer centric. As we say in a first slide only, that there are three basic rules of the agile that if you want to implement, you can. So the first rule is customer centric. In the end, whatever we are developing, whatever we are delivering, that we are doing for the customer, so it has to be customer centric. We should be flexible enough. In the second slide, as I said, we should whatever we deliver, it should be a working solution. Fourth one, it should give a maximum value to the business in the minimum time. And for fifth, and the most important, is rapid iteration. So as and when we get the response from the customer, be it positive or negative, we try to improve, we try to implement, and we try to get the better version of the software in the market. This is how the agile is. On the other hand, the traditional was between the it was totally into the contract negotiation, planning, the heavy bulky documentation, and the delayed business value. So even though I work as a business analyst, I like to document, but the documentation is very boring, to be very honest. I'm telling you from my experience that it's first of all it's boring, plus it's time consuming, and today's time when the reels and other things are going, people doesn't like to read a long documentation. They wanted to get a gist of the entire idea, and if things are clear in their mind in 2 minutes, they'll not go and read for say 200 or 300 pages. So this was the disadvantage of the pro method which we used to work previously. Okay, so now there are few principles of the agile, that what are the main pillars that should be there if you are going to implement the agile for your project or for your team. So first, it's a focus on the business needs. So if business need is very well captured, then as a team or as a developer development, we will able to deliver it to the customer. Second is the collaboration. In this rapidly changing world, the collaboration will be the necessity to success. When I say collaboration, there are multiple ways of looking at it. One way where we collaborate with the customer, we collaborate with the teams. If within the organization, if 2 to 3 different teams are working on the same project, then the close collaboration is required, and if that happens, then success will be there. Third and most important is the build incrementally from the firm foundation. Here I'll give you the best and the well suited example for incremental delivery. It's a WhatsApp. When WhatsApp was found and it came into the existence near by 2009-10, there were a member, only 19 member team was there, and in the end when it was sold, it was 19 billion dollars. So what they solved initially, they just solved a way to communicate, to chat with one on one via internet. Previously we used to have Yahoo Messenger and other messenger, but the problem was they are using the email ID and we need to log in, so they don't have a user friendliness. Where WhatsApp came with the mobile number implementation, that using your personal mobile you can send communicate, you can send messages to others, and likewise they just solved one problem. With time they increment, and right now if you see, we every one of us is using WhatsApp, even my father, my grandfather, everyone. Next is communication and continuously clearly. So this fourth pillar and second pillar are actually go hand on hand, that if you collaborate, then in a way you are communicating continuously with the team member, with the customer, with the other teams who are working on a software. So if we do that, then the success is always there. And if we do everything which is there on the first floor, then definitely timely delivery will happen, because we are focused on the business, we are collaborating, we are building incrementally, and we are communicating regularly. Fifth, after the fifth, delivery is important, but the most important part is the quality delivery. If a software is buggy, even if the bug is in a current way, if we have some bugs which are having a medium or low priority, that is totally fine. But the high or blocker bug should not be there. At least customers should get can start working on it, and on top of it, if something goes wrong, then we are there to fix it. And there the seventh pillar will come, it's develop iteratively. If some minor bugs or the medium level bugs are there, we actually take into the next sprint and we uh, work on it and deliver it again. And the last and the most important is the demonstrate the control, because in the end, if all seven things are working, in a way we can say we are in a control of the system, where we are delivering uh, values to the customer, we are working with the team is happy, things are working good. So this is what the main principle of the agile is. I'll move to next slide. Okay, So as I clearly mentioned about the principles, now this slide is, I kept it very small, that as a as an individual I would like you to thought or give an idea that why we should go for the agile implementation in your project. So these are the few common uh, ideas, or I would say reasoning, which I got from the internet, that it's a proven technique. Second, it's addressing full project life cycle. Key agile practices are incorporated, quality governance control, clear roles, and whatnot. But I do have a question for all of you, that after listening to this much, what do you think and why do you think we should or you should implement Agile in your project? So this will be open for dialogue. Any thought from anyone?
So, Parth, a question. Do you ever
Mhm.
see that agile fail?
Yes, I have seen, because many a times what happens at as Nitin has rightly mentioned, that if we are in a service industry and if people are just following the way they did in their past based on their past experience, but not changing, which is the main thing of the agile, that be flexible, at that time the chances of failure are there, because customer, in a way, it's the transformation, the way they were working or way we are working, we should come together and should be on the same page. If that doesn't happen, then yes, there are chances of failure of agile.
Mhm.
And as Pranshu also mentioned, it's a mindset. And if the mindset doesn't goes into the complete hierarchy from top down, maybe the business owner who is not directly looking into any kind of development to the very basic of it, then normally agile fails. Works do keep on going, things do keep on delivering, but that doesn't remain more or less agile. It's just things happening. So it's a mindset that needs to be developed and starts from very top to very bottom, and otherwise it's normal work that everyone is doing. Yeah.
True, true. So Nitin has clearly rightly mentioned that in the end it's team. So even if be it customer, be it internal team, be it anyone, we should work as a one single team, one single unit, where everyone has a same goal, same idea, and same way of working. So if we are on the same page, then yes, this will work. I'll move to the next slide. So here it's just the way, it's in a pictorial way, that how the agile is actually implemented. So we receive a requirement, we develop a solution, the solution is implemented, it is tested, and it is released. This is one way. If something goes wrong, if it is not released, then we have a second round, same phase will happen, but in a way it's iterative. So main advantage which I said, which I see here, that if something goes wrong and then the cycle time is quite less, quite small, that you will able to roll out your next build within couple of days with the better quality and better result. And again, you are open for feedback. If something goes wrong, again same process will happen, and in the end you will get success for sure. So this is the main advantage of implementing agile in any of the organization, be it software, be it manufacturing industry, or be it anywhere. Next. So right now, one fundamental, or I would say the thing, when we heard agile, everyone thinks as a scrum only, but agile has come up with 7 different frameworks. Like one of them is a scrum, where the requirement is clear, the things are there with the clear goal. At that time we always go ahead and implement scrum. On the other hand, if we are in a support model, then as a team we should not wait to have a sprint closer to deliver something on live. as customer is impacted, as customer is waiting. So at that time, Kanban is the one where it will be helpful to get delivered to the customer quickly. So this is the second model. Third, which is a hybrid, it's a combination of waterfall and Scrum, or waterfall and Kanban, depends upon the customer and other things. The my favorite is the XP, which is extreme programming, where it can be implemented. It is implemented where the technical development or some R&D work is there, where the close programming is needed. At that time, instead of going into Scrum, Kanban, hybrid, the XP is the one which can help, which can lead to a better success, which can be the one who can give the result. So these are the different frameworks which can be used, and you can try it by yourself as per your need. Now, I'll go only in the detail of a single framework which generally we are following, or most of us are using. It's a Scrum. So in a Scrum, there are three main roles. One is a Scrum Master, second is a Product Owner, and third is a Scrum Team. So this all three players when come together, then and work together, then we can see a miracle. So what is the role of each member? So Scrum Master is the center of everything. His principal responsibility is to eliminate all the obstacles. Whatever comes, whatever problems teams are facing, be it communication with the client, be it communication with the other team, be it uh, say anything with the deployment, anything with the infrastructure, any sort of problems, we have only one God, which is a Scrum Master, who will help us to get out of everything. So this is the main role of the Scrum Master. Next is a product owner. So product owner is generally either a customer or a stakeholders who is actually being a face of a team to the external entity whenever any new requirement is coming, or if anything goes out of a team. First person who will check or who will get the new requirement is the product owner. If everything is working right as per his requirement or as per him, then only everything is correct, and then it goes to live. So if I read it in a theoretical way, usually a product owner is usually a customer or a stakeholder, is actively involved throughout the project, conveying the global vision of the product and providing the timely feedback on the job done after every sprint. So this is the role of a product owner. Now, these two roles, Scrum Master and Product Owner, are the individual entity. But the most important part of the entire setup is a Scrum team. So Scrum team is a cross-functional team, which is again a self-organized group, people that is responsible for product implementation. Even though all the problems, all the obstacles has been tackled, even though product owner gets the clear requirement, but if team is not in a right shape, if team is not working, then you will not able to see the result. So so team is the heart of the entire setup, which is a Scrum, where it actually should be a combination, or the ideal setup is every team member should know everything. Be it a developer, he should able to test. Be it a QA, he should able to code. Be it a person who is just designing, he should able to give at least little bit idea of how things should be. So this was the ideal setup where everyone is a self-organized, everyone is a cross-functional, and everyone can able to work on other things. So this is what the Scrum setup is. Next. Now, as we talk about how the things, what are the different roles, what are the Scrum. Now, I'll just show you one pictorial view where how the general Scrum team works. So on the left hand side of the screen, if you see, the product owner gets the requirement from different stakeholders, customers, user. The primary responsibility of the product owner is to have or create a healthy backlog. And based upon the backlog, team actually selects the requirement which they want to commit for that particular sprint. So in the end, product owner will just tell that this are the five requirements, and they will tell this is the priority of the requirement. They will make understand team what the demand of that requirement, but in the end it's team's responsibility, or I would say team's decision, that which requirement to take first and which can be delivered within that time period of a sprint. Once the requirement is taken by the requirement in one of the ceremony of the sprint planning, then we goes to one more step down where actually we drill down the requirement into task. So requirement is to say, I'll say have a chat functionality, then how it should be, then the what the task should be, that one of the tasks could have been one-on-one chat, other could have been group chat, third could have been video calling, one could have been one-on-one video and calling. So likewise all the tasks which are needed for the for to complete that entire task, it's team's responsibility to break down that bigger task into smaller chunk with the help of product owner. Next, the next will work will come as a every day we once the sprint planning is done, we have committed for the features which we are going to deliver. Then the next thing will come, which is a scrum. So every day in the any time which team feel flexible, team should go ahead and meet once. They should discuss that what are the things they have done yesterday, what are the things they are going to do today, and if they have any challenge, any obstacles, anything, then they can discuss with the team, as well as any help needed from the product owner or scrum master. They'll highlight it, and likewise the scrum happens. The ideal sprint setup is from varies from 1 week to 4 week, but this is the ideal one which I say, because I have seen in Google and Amazon they are delivering in it in a minute or so. So there is a altogether a different level of automation or different level of working. But ideal setup is for 1 to 4 week, not less than 1 week, not more than 4 weeks, because if we go beyond 4 week, it will be more than a month. And if nothing goes live within the month, then again we are going back to the model where we used to work as a waterfall. So this is the one. In the end, the sprint after say 1 week or 4 week, sprint ends on that particular day. We'll see whatever the deliveries which we committed on the very first planning meeting, are we able to work, or are we able to complete that work or not. Whatsoever is completed, if we are able to do everything, then it's great. It's the ideal which we want. If something is not right, if something is not done, then the most important ceremony of the entire scrum is a retrospection. As we are getting feedback from the customer, we should get feedback from ourselves, so that if we want to improve, if we see a chance of improving, there we will able to retrospect by ourselves, and we can implement in the next. And again the same cycle will happen, where team will plan, team will break down the task, it will go to scrum, it will do the retrospection, and delivery will happen. And the important things are the few charts which teams can look into. It's a burn down chart, that in the starting of the sprint, say team has given a capacity of say 80 hours per month per sprint for 2 weeks, then how every day team is working can be, that is one way. Second is how much story point they are delivering on each day, they can see from the chart. So there are uh, few ideas or few charts which are available for everyone to see and get an idea and implement more. So with this idea, or with this little bit small introduction of Scrum, I'm wrapping up my presentation. So now it's open for Q&A, and I think we are bang on time. It's 11:16, so yeah. So, yep, over to you, Nitin.
Yeah, thanks, Parth. So, Parth, if you can add a little bit introduction about yourself as well. So, I think that
Yeah.
was decided very late. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to add that. For myself, I have nearby 12 years of experience, and I'm following Scrum and Kanban since 9 years. I joined 55 in the month of March recently. Previously, I have started, or my entire 12 years was in banking. I started with different banks by working with Cognizant, be it Deutsche Bank, BNY Mellon, ABN AMRO, and a few other things. Then I moved to MasterCard in 2014. There I spent 8 long years over there. And one thing which I can brag about myself, I do have one patent on my name, which I actually we invented while working with the MasterCard. And I think that's it about me. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks, Parth. Okay, so over to Dinesh. Dinesh. So we take.
I think any questions from anybody?
All good. I think, Parth, I took this screenshot of last slide. I need to strictly follow that.
Yeah, sure. I will share the PPT with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Great, Parth. Thank you so much for the
Thank
insights.
And also, I would like to mention Pranshu Gupta also mentioned a couple of points in a chat itself. Yes, agree to those as well. But sometimes few things has to keep little relaxed when we are talking with audience who is having no knowledge, expert level knowledge of the same concept. So yes, I see Megha Sharma have a raised hand if she has any question here.
No.
Okay, sorry, it seems like it's a design. Okay, so shall we proceed or take a little break here, Dinesh?
No, I think we can proceed. Yogesh is with us. Yeah.
Okay, so welcome Yogesh. So I can give a bit of introduction here, which is very impressive, I will say. So Yogesh is a certified SAFe program consultant, and he has experience of around 16 years. He possess experience in different domains like insurance, e-commerce, telecom, and also for some time, long time doing safe consulting, agile coaching, mentoring, and project management. As a change agent, which is very important term these days, he helped cultivating collective agile growth mindset that fostered and promoted learning, innovation, teamwork, and transparency, appreciation, and one of the things important is celebrations. That's also very important part of agile. There should be a celebration when there is a success. He coached around 1,000 people, trained around 2,500 people, and last but not the least, he helped around 100 people to overcome fear, phobia, anxiety, bad memory, and such things, means that attracted my attention the most. And he worked for many reputed clients like PepsiCo, Globe Telecom, IBM, Boeing, and there are many more to list, but I think these are enough to give the first impression. So welcome Yogesh, and over to you.
First of all, thank you so much, Nitin, for a good introduction. And thanks a lot, everyone, for being here. And I would like to thank Dinesh and Agile Wow, especially Sanjay Sani, for arranging these meetups, which is not helping the community, but for individuals who are interested in their own growth. And my topic for today is about this concept in Agile. So please let me share my screen. I hope you all can see my screen.
Yes.
Yes, it's visible. Yep.
Oh, thank you. So in next 30 minutes, I will be talking about leadership in Agile project management. After two wonderful sessions on Agile project management, now we understand what is Agile project management and how to be effective in Agile project management. But there is a key role in Agile project management, which is leadership. And before we deep dive into leadership in Agile project management, I have a quick question for all of you. So I'm putting a link in the chat window. There would be a couple of quiz or polls. Please open that, write your name, and then you will be there. Are you all able to access the link?
Yes, Yogesh.
Perfect. So one quick question. After these couple of sessions, after understanding Agile project management, well, how are you feeling? Please type in your response. What are your feelings right now before we get in this session? So we are getting good, very good. Awesome, active, energetic, fantastic, sanguine, excited. Give some more. We are almost 60 people now, and we have only 25% of participants now. So team, participate more. Fresh. We have 21 participants. It's self-awareness. How are we feeling? Nobody else can tell this except you only. Perfect. So more or less, all of you are quite excited, active, and fresh. After spending almost 1.5 hours, still people are excited, fresh. That's a great thing. So let's move on. This is all about my introduction, which Nitin has already covered. So I'm skipping this slide. Another question to all of you again, and this time you need to use the chat window. You will have to respond in chat. Who is a leader? Leader should be a domain expert or an experienced person, an influential person, a people person, or a senior person. What do you think? Which one is right? Or which one is the correct definition of a leader?
So I have a question here. So
Yes,
an
please.
experienced, an experienced person and a senior person, what is the difference here?
So experienced person who has good experience in that specific domain or that specific technology or that specific work, as per me. And then senior person would be person who is more than 40 or more than 60.
Okay, so it's like with the age, not with experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have mixed responses because we have mixed set of audience as well. We have leadership people as well as people who are just starting. Plus people person plus influential. So the point here is you all are right. Whatever you will say will make some sense. Or if you say everything, it will make more sense. And you can find to group couple of options, or you will find some options are quite related. Let's say if we talk about a domain expert and an experienced person, or a senior person, like mentioned by, I missed the name, and then influential person would be more aligned with the people person. If you are a people person, you can influence people. but everything is making sense. But when we talk about a leader should be influential person, as per my understanding or my perspective. Because if you can influence people to give their best, you are a true leader. Does that make sense to all of you?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. So let's go to the results. And now we have another question. Who is a leader in your team? In your team, you will find managers and above, the people who are senior managers, directors, senior directors, VPs, CEO, CTE, a lot of people. Then you have Scrum Masters, you have product owners, you have developers, and then last option is everyone. So what do you say? Please share your opinion on this. Now you know who is a leader. It should be an influential person. So we have 3 votes, 4 responses as of now. 8 responses. Team, whenever you have an opportunity to contribute, please contribute. If it's just sharing your opinion, sharing your response, it's required to be agile. If you don't put all perspective on the table, it would not be agile at all. And that's why we have Scrum Masters, to ensure everybody is participating and we have a collaborative environment in the team. So let's wait for 10 more seconds. We have only 17 polls now. 18 to team. Okay, so let's close this. So we have 44 people are saying a manager or above is a leader in your team. Now a quick question to all of you. Should it be manager and above, or someone else would be considered as a leader? And people who are saying manager or above, why manager and above? What made them a leader? No problem. So when we talk about leadership, there are 2 key concepts. One is authority, and the second one is opportunity. When we talk about leadership, most of the times we feel we need to have that authority in terms of designation, in terms of level, in terms of authority, but it is not the real leadership. When we talk about leadership, it is an opportunity. Wherever you see that opportunity, grab that and you are a leader. Leadership is something where whenever needed, you can lead. That is a leader. When we talk about your own, or if you talk about your own organization, right? Your own team, your organization, you will find a lot of opportunities to demonstrate your leadership. But we are not taking up those opportunities. You will find a lot of things which are on the table. There are problems, there are processes which needs to be improved. There are improvements on the table, and everybody discuss about those improvements in each meeting, but nobody takes the accountability to complete those improvements. So this is the opportunity which anyone can take up. It is all about what is the leadership, what I can do, and how I can do. So for me, I consider every individual as a leader. When you start owning your work, whether it's development, whether it's design, database, testing, deployment, or whatever it may be, you start owning yourself, your work. Because everything starts from individual self. If you talk about any change, change starts within. So likewise, start owning your work, be punctual, be on time everywhere, focus on your own growth, learn small things every day, improve 1% every day. There are a lot of concepts of these improvements, learning, but this is nothing but leadership of doing all these things consistently. Is that making sense to all of you?
Yes.
How about others?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Megha, thanks Sangani, thanks Rishi, thanks Amit. So we have few people who are saying yes or no, because whenever we are in a session, we are spending our time, effort, and energy. This session is not for me, not for Agile Wow, not for Sanjay, not for Nitin, not for even Dinesh. But this session is for yourself. You are owning your time. Now you have to make maximum out of this session. So wherever you are spending your time, it's your responsibility to make maximum out of this. So participate as much as possible. So I have written a small definition of a leader. A leader is someone with a vision and the path to realize it. A leader is someone who ensures their team has support and tools to achieve their goal. So being a leader, it's not about giving the directions. Okay, hey, do this. We need to get it done. We have to release on that specific day. That's not the leadership. Believe in your team and start supporting them. Ensure whatever support they need, you are there to help them. Provide them that environment where they can nourish themselves. When you talk about execution, every individual is capable enough to complete the execution. But are we doing it in the right way? And are we moving in the right direction? That should be ensured by the leaders. For that, it is nothing more than just giving them right goal, vision, and support. And John Maxwell says, people buy into the leader before they buy into the vision. You must have experienced a lot of instances where you trust someone and they come and say something and you start following them. Whether they are right or wrong, instead of thinking about this, you start following them. Is that happen to every one of you or some of you, or don't you experience this? If you trust someone, you believe in that fellow or that person or that leader, you start following them. Whatever they are saying, content is secondary thing. How many of you experience this?
Yes, it happens.
Yeah, this happens.
That's why we call a leader as an influential person.
Absolutely. Thanks, Aparna. So, being a leader, it's your responsibility to help your team wherever they need help. When it comes to the leadership, you need not to do some magical things, but you need to do some small and simple things. Appreciate if someone has done good things. Support, mentor, coach if someone is struggling. Because when we talk about capability, each individual hired for that specific role or skill is capable enough, because you have taken that fellow across a multiple level of interviews. So they have capabilities, but you need to understand what they need and how they can be more effective. That's leadership, which I feel leaders are facing some challenges as well, because we as an executive are facing some challenges, we are failing, as well as leaders are also facing some challenges and they are failing as well. And when a leader fails or when a leader succeeds, any idea?
when they themselves doesn't get the autonomy, the support.
Okay, so leaders don't get autonomy. Thanks, Pranshu. What else?
We focus on multiple things.
Take the team along with them.
Take a team along with them, then leaders are successful. Is that so? Okay, so let me share my opinion on this. When you say a leader is successful, a leader can be successful only when their team or teams or people are succeeding. When you say that leader has failed, it is all about the teams, the deliveries, which are failing. Because leaders on the ground hardly does anything. They are just helping the team. They are there to provide that environment, support, and whatever is needed. But they are not executing anything. At the end, people are doing all the work, whether it's about requirement, whether it's about design, development, testing, deployment, or even getting quick feedback. It's everywhere people and team. So growth of a leader would be considered or understood by the growth of their people. So the group of people led by a leader, they all grow together. It's not like the team is growing, but leaders are failing. Leaders are growing, but team is failing. Have you experienced this? Because it doesn't come aligned with each other. But when we talk about agile project management, I have found three major challenges which most of the leaders are facing. What is the role of a leader? Leaders are there, they are supporting agile transformation. They know we need to go agile because they are doing it reactively or proactively. Either way, they boarded on agile transformation. They want to support their team. However, customer, their deliveries, their priorities become more important for the leaders. Because at the end of the day, they are questionable by the top management or by the customer. This is our priority. How are you doing? What are you doing? Then they face missing timelines. We talk about agile, instead of delivering after a couple of years or couple of months, we try to deliver every week. But even still, after getting into agile, there are teams which are struggling to deliver even within a quarter. So leaders are experimenting a lot of things. They are trying to reduce their time to market. Their focus is on time to market, and they're still missing their deadlines. And now leaders are wondering, I support agile transformation. I'm experimenting, but still missing timelines. When they are missing timelines, ultimately they are struggling to deliver value to the end users, because whatever they deliver is not aligned with the expectation of the customer, or the quality of work may not be that level of quality. There might be some defect leakage on the production, or there are a lot of feedback coming from the customer after going live. So this is another challenge which they are facing. How many of you feel or have experienced these challenges?
Of course, at least I have, yeah.
And if I ask you to share out of these three challenges, which one you find most critical or most important one? Which leaders have to tackle first?
I think most important is the culture we are developing. while keeping our focus on the value delivery. Because any transformation does impact, because it faces resistance, and obviously it impacts the delivery, at least intermittently. But yeah, if we learn and keep on improving and focus on delivery and client priority, then obviously we can improve.
Makes sense, Anshu. And they all are sounding interrelated as well. Yes, Amit, you want to say something?
No, I think Pranshu covered what I wanted to say.
Okay. Any other thought on this? So now leaders are aware of their challenges. What should be the next course of action from any leader? Now they are well aware about the challenges. They know where are they struggling. What should be the next step?
That how we can resolve that.
Absolutely, Megha. So how we can overcome those challenges? It's all about learning and growth. Each leader should be a continuous learner. Whenever they stuck somewhere, they should be able to ask for help. Hey, I need help. Even I'll share an example. Nowadays, I am working on a team, working with a team. They are doing SAP development, and I don't know anything about SAP. Though being an agile coach, I don't need to be well aware about SAP, but I should be able to speak their language. I should be able to understand what are they talking about. So for that purpose, I reached out to one of my team member whom I work with. He was a fresher, and at that time I was leading that team. And I found that he is working in SAP. So I reached out to that person. Hey, I need some help. Can you help me to understand SAP better? And there is no harm in doing that. When I was leading a team, that he was intern there, but now he knows SAP. He's an expert, and there's no harm or no shame in reaching out to that person and learning from that guy. So being a leader, whenever you are struggling, raise your hand and ask for help. But it is all about growth and learning. So they should be spending good amount of time in learning how to overcome these challenges. And I have done some experimentation and put my whole experience in and try to come up with 3 different solutions. One, each leader should be good in prediction. They should be able to predict how early or how soon we can deliver or how much we can deliver. So you can say to manage the deliveries and expectations of customers, we need to be predictive and agile. So when we can deliver, how much we can deliver, it should be all leaders should be able to predict that deliveries, because they are not doing it on the ground.
So you mean to say that who's a leader who can predict, it should be a domain expert, right?
I'm not saying that, Amit, but yes, if it's the domain expert, that's good. But I'm saying they should be predictive. And I will talk about how they can be more predictive. So it's not about getting it on the ground and doing the things and understand how much time it will take, what all challenges we will face. But when we talk about prediction, they should spend good amount of time in building high performing team, which is nothing but your agile teams, which are self-organized, cross-functional, and they can plan, design, develop, and deploy their solutions. Should be not dependent. So they should be trusting their team. They know.
In this case, one can. So how do you, because you are right that you build a high performing team, okay, but you should have some timeline to that, right? That I need to build a high performing. I should be able to predict. That's my team who should be high growth, high performing. So he should be able to predict that particular part first, right?
So just to answer your question, we cannot put much timelines, not only about building high performing team, but about agile project management as well, or agile transformation as well. In the beginning, how much time will it take? It depends on a lot of factors. But yes, we need to time box certain things. And you must be aware, Tuckman's model, the team goes through different phases: forming, norming, storming, and performing. So performing comes at the end. Some teams may be at performing level in a quarter, some may take 6 months, some may take a year. So it's not time boxing the things, but yes, we need to invest our time and effort on building high performing team, because there are certain organizations where they have vendors who are doing execution everywhere, and they are struggling in improving their ways of working because they don't have long lived teams. They have short teams, they come for a project and next project they are changed. So this is another struggle. So time boxing, I would not say it should be time boxed up to a quarter or a month, but yes, depending on the current composition, current state, we can take a call, how much will it take? And but definitely it would not be a destination, it is a continuous journey. When we talk about high performing team, even in performing, there are a lot of improvements which needs to be done continuously. So don't consider it as a destination, it's a journey. Does that make sense, Amit?
Yogesh, I have a question on the prediction which you said. So when you say predicting a right way, or maybe predicting a delivery or expectation of the customer, are we using any sort of metrics, or is it on the gut feeling?
I'm just coming, please let me complete this prediction section. Then some of your queries may be answered, or if not, we can take it at the end. Right? Okay. So high performing team is needed to be more predictive. The leaders should be able to trust their teams when they say we will deliver this much of scope in 3 iterations, depending on their velocity or capacity. Leaders should trust them, right? So this is high performing and agile teams. So first, they should focus on building high performing team, which is autonomous, which is master in their work, and they should have a purpose. So that is another aspect about high performing team. Then second would be, they should be helping the team in getting clear understanding about scope and work. Whatever scope they are targeting, whatever work team is doing, they should be able to establish better understanding in terms of scope, in terms of dependencies, in terms of risk, in terms of issues, as well as they should be able to validate their assumptions. And when it comes to validating the assumptions, it is all about leaders. They need to provide the safe environment to the team so that they can share their perspective openly. When team has better understanding about the requirement, they can estimate it better. When they are estimating it better, they can plan it better. When it is planned better, then they can definitely deliver it better. When we talk about estimations, estimation is always a speculation. If you spend entire month or entire year in estimating the scope, it will still end speculation. You are not sure whether we would be able to deliver it within this time frame or not. So instead of spending that amount of time in doing something which is not correct or accurate, so it's better to move your team to relative estimation, which they can do quickly. So when they are relatively estimating, they are not spending good amount of time. It is creating flexibility to the team. Whatever they will learn and whatever is coming to their way, they will take action accordingly. Then second point is about small and incremental deliveries. Now we know we need to be predictive. To become predictive, we need to be small and we need to plan small and incremental deliveries. Because when we talk about small cadence-based small deliveries, it is all about getting quick feedback and delivering value quickly and early, as well as more value to the customer. And now how we can get into delivering more values, right? So how we can get there? So it's all about cadence-based deliveries. I hope you all must be aware about cadence. What is cadence?
Maybe a short explanation will help everyone. Yeah.
Okay. Cadence would be a duration or time duration which is followed by a team for delivering or anticipating the scope of work and deliveries. So if we talk about sprint or iteration, that is nothing but a cadence. At the end of each iteration, we expect team to deliver a working software which can be released on the production. So the sprint is nothing but a cadence. If you go to save, we have PI. PI is nothing but a cadence. Cadence of 8 to 12 weeks. Sprint, a cadence of 1 to 4 weeks. Right? So when we have cadence-based deliveries, it enables not only the team, but your leaders as well to predict their delivery, how early they can deliver or when can they expect. Regular deliveries would be there because we are not planning everything upfront, but we are planning in small cadences or regular cadence. So every iteration, every PI, we would be delivering. So we can anticipate, we can predict at the end of the iteration or at the end of the PI, we would be delivering working software, working solution, which can be deployed to the production if market demands. Then it's all about shared understanding and shared commitment. Understanding about the scope, understanding about the ways of working, understanding about the commitment, what we would be delivering, how we would be delivering, and when we would be delivering. So at the same time, we expect the commitment from the business as well, at the team level and at the business level. So understanding the scope and establishing shared understanding about scope and work is always helping the team in delivering in short cadences, small and incremental deliveries. Because whatever we understand, whatever is the scope for that user story, everybody in the team understands the same scope. If it is 3 story points, everyone says it's 3 story points. It's not 5 for me, 3 for you, and 5 for Parth or 3 for Nitin. It should be 3 for everyone in the team. So they know if it is 3, it is 3. If we have a velocity of 15, we have a velocity of 15. And we are committing and confident as well in delivering those story points if our velocity is 15. And the foremost important about frequent delivery and small delivery is continuous integration. Until unless we are not in a continuous delivery, or sorry, continuous integration, it would be difficult to release at the end of each iteration. And even in SAFe, we talk about system demo, which is an integrated work of all the teams within that Agile release train. So multiple teams coming together and integrating their work of the entire iteration at the end of each iteration. Until unless we don't mandate these iteration review and system demo at the end of each iteration, which should be integrated and from the staging environment, it would be not done. And we will not have the clarity about how much is done and how much is deployable to the production. And the third one talks about shorter feedback loops. When we talk about customer expectations, in waterfall, what happens at the end of a year, we deliver something, but that is something entirely different from the expectations of the customer. So we collaborate more with the customer. As a Parth has mentioned, Agile is all about customer centricity. So we need to collaborate more with the customer, understand what they want by review at the end of each iteration. So we are not only meeting the customer expectation, but wherever we need to adjust, we can adjust quickly, and which will take less time as well as less effort and less cost as well. So this is how shorter feedback loop will help us, and how we can get into shorter feedback loops. So frequent demos, from iteration demo, system demo, everything should be integrated and should be demonstrated to the end users, business representatives, or client, customer, whosoever is applicable. So as much as you demonstrate, you will get real feedback from the customer. What they want, what they expected, and what they are getting. These three different aspects: what they want delivered, and what they wanted. So to come on a common ground, you need to demonstrate it to your customer as early as possible, as much as possible, as frequently as possible. Because when you look at the things, you get a real view of it, and you can anticipate what you want, how it should look like. It should not be like it's not my blue, mere wala green, right? To enable your shorter feedback loops, you need to focus more on automation. Automate everywhere, wherever possible. Automate your test suites, migration suites, unit testing, continuous integration, continuous deployment. Whatever is needed, try to automate those aspects. Because when you talk about early delivery, quick time to market, you need to have automation. If your product is small, you can do it every week. But when it grows, you need to spend a lot of time in regression testing, in ensuring everything else is working fine with this small change. For that, you need to get into automation. So being a leader, you need to support automation for your team, all your teams, in fact. Now, this is all about how a leader can support, because whatever we have discussed, it would not be coming on the grounds or cannot be executed without buying from the leaders. So leaders should understand they have a role to support all these aspects to become more agile, to become more flexible, to become more quick.
Yogesh, just one question I have. Can you
So
hear
now,
me?
yes, Gaurav.
So, Yogesh, we have one customer, right? And he's from the regulation body. So now we have a contract in such that they only can accept 2 deliveries in a year. Okay. And they asked the team to work in Agile. Okay. I work as a senior Agile coach. Okay. Now the contract says that only 2 deliverables are allowed in a year. Right, and they are asking team to work in Agile, and they are actually piling up the deliverables coming up again, and it's not going forward. So how to convince and have a mindset change for these kind of customers, right? I can't name the customer, right, but you could give me some inputs here.
Yes, Gaurav, thank you so much for this question, because customer is someone who can take a call. Do I need to have a release every year, every month, every week, or even daily? So in SAFe, I love this concept. They talk about release on demand. So whenever customer wants, you should be releasing it on production there and then. But there are certain ways by which you can implement continuous delivery without release. So you have multiple deployment strategies. So you can keep deploying on production or staging to get feedback from the customer. At the end of each iteration, you should be able to take your code on the production if needed to get the real feedback on the real environment. Right? So you need to think through your deployment strategies, how you can ensure you are not just piling up, but you are getting the real feedback.
Okay, okay, yeah, that was useful. Thanks.
One thing, Yogesh,
Yes.
in your last slide, I mean, as a leader, I'm just thinking, would it help if we include fourth step as a, adjustment? So based on feedback, and the third step, what to adjust, how we worked as a team in this last iteration, so that prediction could be improved for the next.
Thank you, Pranshu. And that makes more sense because when we talk about Agile, it is nothing but inspecting and adapting. Whatever we know, basis that we will take the next step.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, sir.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Any other questions? We are already over time.
Yeah,
2 minutes.
I think there's too much to grasp and ask here, but yes, we have to keep things time boxed. Thanks, Yogesh, for your session, and thanks everyone for participating in this meetup. Thanks to Dinesh, Sanjay, yeah, and Prachi and Parth. Yes, Dinesh, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Nitin, and thank you, Yogesh, for your time, and thank you so much, every one of you, especially on Saturday, where is a holiday, and we all are tired for 5 days work and all this stuff. So and spending 2 hours is sometimes very quite difficult for everyone. But yes, again, Yogesh says that it's our responsibility to grasp the knowledge. It's us who will be benefit from this knowledge. And frankly speaking, I attended so many meetups, physically, online, and it really give me a very, very good insights, and it's helped me to become a more of an expert, grasping some pieces of information from there and here, and and so that and sometimes these meetups are so useful that I implement in my team also, some of the solution provided by the speakers, stakeholders, and all this stuff. So I implement it there, and it's really work actually. So the best way of learning these days is to attend the meetup. If you're passionate about Agile, passionate about speed to work, delivery, and all these stuffs, please please attend these meetups. Just a promotions like subscribe to Agile Wow meetup, and speak to Nitin if you want any more sessions. He will speak to Sanjay. But be passionate. Be always a change agent within yourself. See, all Island, a very good phrase in one of the good books is that you cannot change anybody. The only person you can change is yourself. Once you change yourself, the people will influence from you, and then they will change from you. That is called the leadership actually. So keep the desire for learning. Yeah, and thank you so much, Nitin, for your support also.
Yeah, thanks, Dinesh. Thanks a lot.
Okay,
for
bye
everyone's time, and
have a nice weekend. Yeah,
you too.
bye.
Everyone have a nice weekend. Bye bye, guys.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Yeah.